All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting close to the truth on who Miss Salami is. I don't know if you guys been watching The Bride of Charlie. It has been getting crazy, and we are discovering who she is. Who is Erika Kirk, and what does her bloodline look like? And it's very crazy. It's very crazy. It will be hard to even recap everything right now in this video. But the main point of this video is that we're also getting close to the truth on how Erica and Tyler Bowyer met. Remember, these two met before Erica met Charlie. Yet these two can't get their stories straight on how they met each other. They're both like, oh, I don't know. It was the 2015 Trump rally, but yet we were in Romania at the same time. But it's crazy. It's weird, and their stories don't line up. And I was watching a couple of videos today, and I'm realizing that Erica can't even get her story straight on how she really even met Charlie. To be honest, it doesn't really make sense. So we're gonna talk about today a little bit, or a lot of bit, I'm sorry, on why these stories don't make sense. And just, y'all let me know what y'all think as well with the information that I show today, the videos and everything that y'all hear today. But make sure you guys hit the like button before we get started. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of y'all support. Again, I believe we are officially set up to be monetized. Oh, let me take that back. I was allowed to submit my application, which is the start. That's the beginning, which is amazing. So I definitely appreciate y'all for supporting me throughout this journey. One man show over here, and I do what I can. So I submitted that application into YouTube, and they said it'll take up to about 2 weeks to get approved. So it's submitted. So we're on the right track. I tried live out last night for the first time, and that was great. So thank you for everybody that hopped in that and all of that. We're on our way. We're on our way. But yeah, so I just wanted to let's go ahead and get started on this confusion on Tyler Bowyer and Erika Kirk. Candace is hitting a segment on it today, more on Romania specifically, because she dropped some crazy receipts on Tyler being in Romania and him talking about hooking up with Romanian girls from a model agency. Weird, right? And then this was at the same time where Jeffrey Epstein was in Romania as well with everything he got going on. And then at the same time, Erika Kirk somehow was in Romania. It's crazy. It's crazy. So we don't know how we don't know how Erika and Tyler Bowyer met. But we just know they're lying about the story that they want us to believe. They want us to believe it was at the 2015 Trump rally, and it doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense at all, if we're just being honest. But I just wanted to play one video, two videos off rip that stood out to me this morning from just watching it. And I want to compare, and y'all just let me know what y'all think as well when y'all hear this. But I was paying attention to the love story, right? Erika and Charlie's love story on how they met and all this other stuff. And listen to what she said about how they met. I want to start with this video right here. Listen to what she said on how they met.
It's so just random. And he was like, hey, I'm coming into town, into New York City. Let's meet at Bill's Burgers. Mind you, I've lived in Manhattan now for about 5 years. I've never eaten at Bill's Burgers before. So that I guess was a sign like, let's take an adventure tonight for dinner and go find Bill's Burgers and meet your future husband that you have no idea is about to be your future husband.
So you see how bubbly she is, right? About meeting at Bill's Burger. I've never been to Bill's Burger before, but I'm optimistic that, maybe I'll meet my future husband. This will be great. Going to Bill's Burger. Let's go. And this was years ago, right? Let me see if I can find the link real quick. This was, that's obviously a lie right there. But obviously it was a while ago. But listen to how she describes it, how she specifically talks about Bill's Burger in this CBS interview.
Conservative man.
Well, yeah. So
It just depends on where you're looking. You know, if you're on the apps, I don't know if you're on the apps. I don't know if, I'm not going to ask you your personal journey. But what I will say is when I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow.
We know that's a lie, right? We already know that. She's dated 3 or 4 guys in those 5 years that she said she didn't date at all. So we know that's a lie. And we've already talked about that. Let's keep it going.
How getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than going. I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. So it goes twofold here. So if you're expecting to marry someone that I was blessed with, like a Charlie, you have to be the type of woman that will attract a Charlie. Are you going to church? Are you going to Bible study? Did you tell your pastor that you are ready for the Lord to bring into your life the man that you've been praying for? You yourself need to be prepared for that man.
I have a lot of comments about what she just said. We might have talked about it in another video already, so I don't want to go too deep into it. Oh my God, my brain is going crazy when what about what she's saying right now? Just the whole, it's so performative. Have you talked to your pastor about saying that you're ready for a husband? Are you serious? Like, again, some people could be like very deep into their faith, like in good faith, not her, but somebody out there could be going to their pastor saying that they're ready for, I've just never, that's just so performative to me for her to even say something like that. But again, we're getting to the part when she specifically talks about Bill's Burgers. And at the time of this interview, I didn't really peep the reference. I thought it was just kind of random of her bringing up the restaurant. But again, pay attention to how she brings it up in this way.
And only you will know how to do that. Does that mean staying out and going out with the girls? I'm not saying you sit on your couch and all of a sudden he's going to knock on your door and be like, honey, let's rendezvous. Like, that's not how it happens. It's not. Granted, my situation was a little different. I wouldn't do it.
You went to a job interview.
Literally. So this is how good the Lord is. He knew that because I was not dating in New York City, he knew that in order for me to know that that was my man, he had to blanket Charlie as a job interview. Because if that went in, no joke, if he came to me and said, hey, let's go on a date to Bill's Burgers, I'd be like, I am so sorry. Thank you, but no, we're not doing this. That was my mindset. I was not in that headspace. I just wasn't.
Talk about because it was so just random.
Hi.
I was like, hey, nice to officially meet you again. What did you want to talk about? Because it was so just random. And he was like, hey, I'm coming into town, into New York City. Let's meet at Bill's Burgers. Mind you, I've lived in Manhattan now for about 5 years. I've never eaten at Bill's Burgers before. So that I guess was a sign, like, let's take an adventure tonight for dinner and go find Bill's Burgers and meet your future husband that you have no idea is about to be your future husband.
And
do you see what I'm saying? How is it that she downplays Bill's Burgers in the CBS interview, saying God had to blanket Charlie and trick me into making it look like a job interview at Bill's Burgers? Because if Charlie just said, hey, meet me at Bill's Burgers, I would have said no. It sounds like that's what he did. Is that not what he did? Now, in this video right here of how they met, right, in this video, she does go in and talk about how, after about 15 minutes of sitting down at Bill's Burgers, Charlie started to grill her with questions, and it turned into an interview. But again, her demeanor of talking about Bill's Burger in this video versus the CBS video, the CBS interview, should I say? Because here she's optimistic about it. I'm so excited to go to Bill's Burgers and meet my future husband. But yet in the CBS interview, she said if Charlie were to ask her to go to Bill's Burgers, she would turn him down and say no. Now, it also makes you think. She knew that wasn't going to be like, she knew that was going to be more than an interview. That's just how I feel. Because think about it. You're talking about Charlie Kirk, right? A job interview at Bill's Burgers. You definitely knew there was a little bit more to it than just a job interview. I don't know about y'all, but you don't really have professional job interviews at a burger joint. So she knew that it was going to be a little bit more conversation. That's why she was so excited in this interview right here. But for some reason, in the CBS interview, she wants to downplay Bill's Burgers as if anybody asked her to talk to meet at Bill's Burgers for a date, that's a turnoff. That's a put off for her. Let's just hear it one more time on how she describes Bill's Burgers in this CBS interview.
Operate that way. But holy or bro was the replacement one there. She would go fold here. Are you to Batman? I'm not even do that because I was not dating in New York City. He knew that in order for me to know that that was my man, he had to blanket Charlie as a job interview. Because if that went in, no joke, if he came to me and said, hey, let's go on a date to Bill's Burgers, I'd be like, I am so sorry. Thank you, but no, we're not doing this. That was my mindset. I was not in that headspace. I just wasn't.
Is that not what he did? Charlie DM'd me and said, meet me at Bill's Burgers. It's when you have to lie about certain things like this, it makes you just question a lot. It makes you question so much because, again, this lady is now campaigning for JD Vance. This lady has a voice into who gets elected. Who gets elected as the president of the United States? Not elected to be the next fraternity or sorority president. The president of the country. So, yeah, when you lie about certain things like this, you just lose credibility. And it's like, why should I believe you? And why is this person leading? Why does she have a heavy influence on the entire world on who gets elected? Because that's what Turning Point is. Heavy influence for the Republican Party. And she is the CEO and the leader. And then on top of that, that's not even all of it. She made it seem like, let me go to the beginning of this interview right here again. And let's hear a little bit on maybe the timeline.
So we met at the office opening, the Turning Point headquarters office opening, the first one, August 2018. And I had no idea what to expect because
I met Erika for the first time at this office, Turning Point USA.
You heard that, right? Charlie met Erika for the first time at the Turning Point office, the office opening. Just keep that in mind.
Say office.
So we met at the office opening, the Turning Point headquarters office opening, the first one, August 2018. And I had no idea what to expect because I was coming into the office from the standpoint of they were potentially going to hire me.
And I knew of Erika. I saw Erika. And we had a very brief meeting at the office. And then I had my first conversation with Erika.
He'll tell it differently. So I'll tell you from my side. I was in the Hamptons. I get a random DM on my phone. I have zero service when I'm out there.
Okay, right. They met at the office for Turning Point's opening day or whatever it was. And they had a brief conversation. Charlie says he knew of Erika, but never had a full conversation. Whatever. Y'all just heard it. But it gets interesting because let's hear this version of how they met. I got this from Baron, because this is a slightly different version of how they met for the first time. Because Charlie's words were that it was the first time they met. But hear this version as well.
You walk in there, be cautious. This is
more meander and condensed. And then the woman has the longer. It was a while ago. I can't even keep track of dates.
that's weird. You met the friend?
So I'll try to blend the
Let's play it
two
again.
with babies. And we had met through a family friend.
That honestly is the first time I've heard that Erika Kirk was a family friend of Tyler Bowyer. It's the first time I've heard it.
Now, just to give you a backstory on what Baron is talking about, y'all heard in the older looking interview that I played earlier that Tyler Bowyer, Charlie Kirk said Tyler Bowyer was the one that introduced Erika Kirk to him. And Tyler Bowyer was the one that flew Erika out, or at least told her to come out to Arizona for the Turning Point office location opening, whatever it was. So Tyler Bowyer is the one that's setting all of this up. And keep in mind, Tyler Bowyer and Erika Kirk, Erika was 30 at the time, and Tyler Bowyer is similar in age. So these are older people getting Erika to come to the office and meet 23-year-old Charlie Kirk. That's the backstory on what Baron is talking about real quick, but we're about to jump again into Erika's other story on how her and Charlie met for the first time.
I've been real coy about.
He had invited me to the office opening for Turning Point USA.
So the family friend, Tyler Bowyer, invites Erika to the. I know you know what's happening. Hook him up. I'll get
CEO, and I was like, okay, great.
You need to meet the CEO. No, my long.
The interesting point is that year, that was in August. In May, I had taken a pilgrimage with my mom to Israel, and my whole.
Just to keep up with timelines, the Turning Point opening was in August, right? That's what she just said. So she flew out to Arizona. She was living in New York. For whatever reason, Tyler Bowyer got her to fly out to Arizona for an opening day of Turning Point. Strange. But she's saying in May, she flew to Israel on a pilgrimage trip with her mother.
Intention of that trip, a pilgrimage with my mom to Israel. And my whole intention of that trip was to find my future husband.
Baron's about to talk about the same thing that I thought of. So you're going to Israel to look for a husband, to look for a man? That's desperate. You went all the way to Israel to look for a man. Not the day naps. She's living in New York. She has a roster of dating ball players. But going to Israel is where you wanted to find your husband. For some reason, God told you, hey, go to Israel. Your man is there. Not any other state in America. For some reason, go to Israel. Your man is over there. And I'm assuming y'all can already put together who is over there at the same time.
Or for that second, I want to let it roll for just another minute. I'm going to roll back and play that again, though.
USA, which I know several of you guys are supporters of. So thank you for all of your support for Turning Point USA. And so I went to the office opening, and he was like, you need to meet the CEO. And I was like, okay, great. I don't know. I was not familiar with that world at all. But the interesting point is that year, that was in August. In May, I had taken a pilgrimage with my mom to Israel. And my whole intention of that trip was.
I also don't want y'all to forget that she said she had no idea of their world, and I had no idea, the politics. What are y'all into? In 2015, when she was now exposed for talking to a 15-year-old. I don't want to use any words, but y'all can y'all know if you've been following me or this story. She was talking to a 15-year-old. And in that 15-year-old's Instagram comments, she says, I am in the entertainment industry and I am heavy into political affairs. So how do you not have any idea of this politic world when you told a 15-year-old girl, or you was in her comments explaining that the reason you have clear tattoos is because you are heavy into the political affairs? We're not even getting into her mother. Her mother is heavy into politics. Oh my Lord. She knows exactly how politics work. She was around the military for a while. This is beyond the time where she had military contracts where some of her nonprofit charities. She knows the ins and outs. But I just wanted to put that out there before we get into this Israel story.
To find my future husband. If there was a hole in a rock anywhere to put a prayer, and those of you who've been to Israel, you know that the Wailing Wall, all the different places you can stick a prayer on a little piece of paper, that was me. Like, had a piece of paper everywhere, little put in prayer, God heard me, answered. So that was my whole thing. So after that, it was our last day on that trip, and there's this most precious server that was there, and he looked at me at the end of the trip, and I was saying goodbye, and he was like, I'll see you again soon. He's like, I'll see you here in about 1.5 years from now with your husband. And I was like, oh.
I haven't heard this part of the story.
I know, because I usually...
Yeah, because it's not true.
That is 100% fact. 1,000% fact. She made that up. She made up the whole thing, in my opinion. She was in Israel. But what's also funny that she doesn't mention, because I'm going ahead and spoil it for the ones that haven't seen it. She doesn't mention that when she saw Charlie, which she's about to explain on when she saw Charlie and how that interaction went, Candace was with him. Candace was with him. But she never once mentions, yeah, when I met Charlie, he was actually with Candace. She conveniently leaves that out every time, but Candace was with him. And Candace confirmed this, by the way. Don't have me pull up different, you know what I mean? If you watching me, you know I only really talk about things that have already been confirmed. Don't have me pulling up proof. Candace has already talked about on her podcast and has pulled up, different things, but she's like, yeah, I was with him. I remember Erika walking up and seeing Erika. I remember all of that. Now, she hasn't went into great detail yet about it, but Candace was with him. She doesn't even bring that part up. But let's continue. Since the waiter, I guess, she's in Jerusalem, and she went all the way there to see the Holy Land, or that's what you would think. She went all the way to Israel to find a man, and then grabs a piece of paper and writes a middle school note saying, I want a husband one day. She went all the way to Israel for that and put it in the prayer wall. And now the waiter says, you'll be back next year with a man, with a husband. Okay. All right, Miss Shalami. All
right. I don't know if she's telling it for the first
I usually give this. I feel like I need to give Okay. So we're giving like the real, and so I usually.
No, we're not. But not true. Oh, I'm sorry.
He said that to me. I carried that in my heart. I timestamp things in my phone when someone says something or I overhear something. I use my notes all the time, and I like to look back to see what time that was, what year that was.
Now, if y'all don't remember, Erika struggles with remembering. She even said it in this interview that I skipped over, and she said it in plenty of other interviews, that she struggles with remembering dates like anniversaries and kids' birthdays. But for whatever reason, she writes down when a waiter says you'll find your husband, The next time you come back to Jerusalem, it'll be with your husband. And for whatever reason, she writes down that date and year and time. But you can't remember when you married, what year you married Charlie Kirk. You can't remember kids' birthdays off the top of your head. But but when that waiter said you'll be back with a man next year, oh, I remember that. That was May 15th, 2018, in the afternoon at 2:00. She remembers that, but she doesn't remember arguably the best day of her life. Supposed to be, right? Wedding day. She doesn't remember that. Very interesting.
Save all that. Anyway, so I have it in my phone. And
What the
at the night, I held it in my heart, didn't think anything of it. Thrown off by it, held it in my heart, didn't think anything of it. Then I went to go to the ticket line to leave. I was with my mom. There's only a few flights out at the night in Israel back to the States. And so I was standing there at the ticket line, and there was a guy who was checking out with the guy, you know what I'm talking about, get your ticket, check your bag. And I see him and I was like, huh. I tell my mom, I was like, that guy looks really familiar. And my mom,
he looks really.
He's talking about Charlie. That's what Barron's about to talk about. Now, before Charlie died, I might have known who he was if I walked by him. I can't really confirm that, but that's me, right? Now you're talking about Erika, who's claiming to not know anything about politics, even though she's said in 2015 that she was heavy into the political affairs. For some reason, she says, "Oh, Charlie Kirk looks familiar." I'm into politics, but again, I might have known what he looked like if I seen him in person. Maybe. I can't really confirm it because, again, I knew of him, but I really, you know what I mean? It wasn't that to that extent of just like, oh, yeah. I don't know. I couldn't confirm that. I can't confirm that. But apparently Erika, who's not into politics, she's like, oh, that guy looks familiar. I know. I know that might be that Charlie Kirk guy. That's crazy.
Familiar. If he just to heads it up, you what's into the
go say hi and go say hi.
It's a very muddy story. I mean, we're only like 2.5 minutes into the story.
Mom's like, go say hi. Those of you who know my mom, like that's something go say hi and say hi to him. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I don't know. I just looks familiar. And so anyways, fast forward from May to August. I'm standing in the office and our family friend was like,
she skips over the part that Candace Owens was right there. Skips over that. If that's the timeline of everything, Candace Owens was right there. But I wanted to play that because in the other video, even Charlie said their first time meeting was at the Arizona office opening. But here she's talking about how she met Charlie at the airport. That it just, nothing's making sense. Nothing's making sense at all. Then here's a clip of, again, from Barron. Appreciate you, Barron. Shout out to you, boy. Here's a clip from Barron of Tyler Bowyer. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I get the exact moment. We can go with this.
Erika's the reason you moved.
So here's a clip that Barron played again of Tyler Bowyer saying that the reason Charlie moved to Arizona is because of Erika Kirk. How is that possible? The first time they ever met was at the office opening. So how would that be the reason Charlie moved Turning Point to Arizona? Just listen to what Tyler Bowyer has to say.
Move the
Here.
I've been telling. It's a
Did you bring him here and say this is where you should do it?
That's right.
You're the reason.
So I don't know if I want to call myself the reason. I think Erika's the reason. I think ultimately, if it
Eric, because the reason was that's the you were both. He said, ultimate fact is
Where you should do it.
that's right.
Eric is the reason.
So I don't know if I want to call myself the reason. I think Erika's the reason. I think ultimately, if it would have been for Erika being here, probably God wouldn't have got Charlie to nudge him to be here. But yeah, I'm a 7th-generation Arizonan. We were in Chicago. That's where Charlie's from. He's a Chicago boy through and through, Cubs fan. But those negative 10-degree winters are really tough to get people to move to. And so I remember, I actually remember exactly where I was standing when I got the phone call, and he's like, "That's it. You know, we can open up an office in Phoenix." And we did. We had an office. I originally opened in Mesa, right down the street from where I lived. And then we ultimately got where we got it now, right by the Arizona Grand Resort. But it was a hard sell at the beginning because he's a Chicago boy.
Sure.
And I got him here, and he was a little cautiously optimistic about what Arizona would look like. And then he met Erika, and that was an easy sell.
That sealed the deal.
That sealed the deal.
Yeah.
Now, see, that doesn't make sense because he said Erika was part of the reason on why he made the move. But then at the end of it seems like he backtracked and said, yeah, now we're here, and Charlie was getting acclimated. And then he met Erika and was happy that he moved, was happy that he's established in Arizona now. It's not making any sense at all. And again, Erika claims that she does not recall on when she met Tyler Bowyer. She remembers when that waiter told her that her man was going to be with her next year in Jerusalem. She remember that. She remember the waiter's name, the day, the time, the hour. She remembers that. But she can't remember the person that introduced her husband, her future husband. She can't remember how she met Tyler Bowyer. That doesn't make any sense to me. But you remember the waiter throwing the lob saying that you're going to meet Charlie one day, right? According to her fabricated story. I think it's fabricated. You remember the waiter throwing it out there that you're going to meet your husband. And it's like, oh, look, Charlie was the person. You remember that, but you don't remember Tyler Bowyer actually introducing Charlie to you. And you don't remember how you and Tyler Bowyer met. I remember everybody and how we met, especially if I'm in close proximity to them every single day. Tyler Bowyer is her employee. I would remember that. I also would remember if somebody introduced my wife to me, I would remember how I would met that person. It's not really making sense. She says she doesn't recall. It was at the 2015 Trump rally. But then at Charlie Kirk's memorial, Tyler Bowyer said this. And Barron probably has it on here too. Again, so Erika Kirk says, I met Tyler Bowyer at the 2015 Trump rally. That's where we met. I can't recall if it was before that. I can't remember. I only can remember the waiter from Israel. But I can't remember when I met Tyler Bowyer. It just doesn't ring a bell. So she says she met Tyler Bowyer at the 2015 Trump rally. But listen to what Tyler Bowyer says on his story on how he met Erika.
Planning sessions. I wanted to hire her. I only actually I put her right behind a 2000. I got a call from Miss Erika Kirk, Miss Arizona 2012. I just want to help, she said. So naturally, I put her right behind the president at that first rally.
I want y'all to remember something. Tyler Bowyer has already admitted to having heavy ties in Arizona. Family go way back. Heavy ties. A seventh generation Arizonian or something like that, he calls himself. Erika Kirk goes way back in Arizona as well. Miss Arizona 2012. That was owned, that pageant, and all of that stuff is owned by Trump. All of that. And he says that Erika Kirk called him and asked him, how can she help with the 2015 Trump rally? Now, I don't know about y'all. No random woman is calling a man she never met and feels comfortable enough to do that. Not buying it. Not buying it. Y'all met before. That's why you felt comfortable to call him. Then on top of that, she's in New York right now at this phone call that Tyler Bowyer is speaking of. She's in New York and she calls Tyler Bowyer, somebody she's never met before, right? She calls Tyler Bowyer from New York and says, how can I help with the 2015 Trump rally? And whatever they talk about, somehow she flies from New York and helps Trump out. And Tyler Bowyer places her right behind Trump. Interesting. It's nothing's making sense at all. And I just want to make sure I have my timelines right, because I knew she flew from New York to Turning Point for the opening. So I could be mistaken and wrong about her flying from New York to Arizona for the 2015 Trump rally. I could be wrong on that. I know for a fact she flew from New York to Arizona for the Turning Point opening. Either way, no random person, no woman is calling a random man that you've never met before. Call him up and say, how can I help with the Trump rally? Y'all knew each other already before that phone call. That's why he was comfortable enough to call Tyler Bowyer. But it's not making sense. We're going to get down to the bottom of it. We're going to get down to the truth. Candace has already hinted at talking about Tyler Bowyer more today. She talked about Tyler Bowyer being in Romania. She's already hit on that, but we're going to get into the meat and potatoes on how her and Tyler Bowyer met, because nothing makes sense around them. And we're going to see. It's going to be a great episode today. I probably will go live tonight. YouTube went well last night going on live, so we'll see. But I appreciate y'all dropping the comments on what y'all think on why nothing makes sense. And make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the support, and I will see y'all on the next one.